Apple is still the most valuable company on Earth. Its quarterly earnings are still staggering. Its customers are still loyal in a way that defies most normal market logic. And yet, in the actual places where the future of technology is being decided, hardware performance, AI integration, market share, and price, something has been building for years that most Western consumers have never been told about clearly. In 2026, it is no longer subtle. Chinese technology companies are not catching up to Apple. In several categories, they have already won. And the gap that once made that sentence sound absurd has quietly, methodically closed. The smartphone shift. For most of the last decade, the narrative around global smartphones was simple. Samsung held the top spot. Apple held the premium end. Everyone else competed for the rest. That story no longer holds. Xiaomi reclaimed the number 2 position in global smartphone shipments in early 2026, and in markets across Southeast Asia, South Asia, the Middle East, and Latin America, which together represent more than half of the world's population, Xiaomi has been the dominant smartphone brand for years. Not a challenger, the dominant brand. The hardware argument for Chinese phones is no longer that they offer acceptable quality at a lower price. It is that they offer superior specifications at a lower price. Xiaomi's 15 Ultra was rated by DxOMark, the independent benchmark used throughout the global photography and smartphone industry, as the top-performing mobile camera on the market, ahead of the iPhone 16 Pro Max. The processing speed, the display quality, and the build materials are comparable to Apple's flagship in every objective measurement, and it costs roughly 30% less. Huawei's return to the conversation is even more striking and arguably more significant from a geopolitical perspective. US export controls, applied specifically to cut off Huawei's access to advanced chip manufacturing, were intended to permanently remove the company from the competitive smartphone market. Instead, Huawei responded by developing their own Kirin 9020 processor domestically. Their Pura 80 series is selling out across Asia and Europe, and the company posted their highest annual revenue in 5 years as of late 2025. The company that was explicitly targeted for commercial destruction by US sanctions policy is, by most measures, thriving. OPPO and Vivo, 2 brands that most American consumers have never heard of, are the 3rd and 4th largest smartphone manufacturers globally by shipments. Both produce flagship-class hardware at mid-range prices. Between Xiaomi, Huawei, OPPO, and Vivo, Chinese manufacturers now account for a larger combined share of the global smartphone market than Apple and Samsung together. The AI moment that changed everything. In early 2025, a Chinese AI lab called DeepSeek released a model called R1. Within days, it had been downloaded and benchmarked by AI researchers across the world. The conclusion was uncomfortable for a lot of people who had assumed the AI race was effectively over. DeepSeek R1 matched or exceeded the performance of OpenAI's best available models on most standard benchmarks. That alone would have been notable. The genuinely shocking detail was the training cost. OpenAI's comparable models were trained at costs estimated in the hundreds of millions of dollars. DeepSeek R1 was trained for a fraction of that figure, using chips that did not require US export licenses, because DeepSeek had engineered around the hardware restrictions through algorithmic efficiency. The assumption built into most Western technology policy and investment strategy that US chip export controls would maintain an uncatchable AI advantage evaporated in a single week. In 2026, Chinese AI is not a curiosity. Alibaba's Qwen model series is integrated into productivity software used by hundreds of millions of people. Baidu's Ernie platform is embedded in search, mapping, and voice products across a billion-plus user base. ByteDance, the company that built TikTok, has deployed AI features across its product ecosystem at a scale and speed that Meta and Google have been unable to match. Apple, meanwhile, launched Apple Intelligence in 2024 to reviews that ranged from underwhelmed to openly critical. Features were delayed, pulled back, and relaunched on a timeline that felt out of step with what competitors were shipping. For a company that built its reputation on making complex technology feel effortless, the AI rollout has been the most significant stumble in years. The categories where Apple simply isn't in the conversation. Some of the most important technology markets of the current decade are ones where Apple either does not compete or competes poorly, and Chinese companies have established commanding positions. DJI controls approximately 70% of the global consumer and commercial drone market. There is no serious American competitor. There is no European competitor with meaningful market share. DJI's dominance in drone hardware is so complete that the US government has been attempting to pass legislation restricting their access to American markets on national security grounds, which is itself a measure of how seriously the competitive position is taken. BYD overtook Tesla in global electric vehicle sales in 2024 and extended that lead through 2025 and into 2026. BYD's vertical integration, they manufacture their own batteries, their own chips, their own software platform, gives them cost advantages that Western EV manufacturers have been unable to replicate without building supply chains that will take a decade to mature. BYD is also one of the largest battery cell suppliers in the world, providing components to manufacturers across consumer electronics, including companies that sit inside Apple's own supply chain. Smart home hardware, wireless audio, and wearable technology produced by Xiaomi, Huawei, and the broader Chinese electronics ecosystem are generating products that compete directly with Apple's AirPods, Apple Watch, and HomePod at price points that are between 40% and 70% lower, with hardware specifications that close the gap in meaningful ways every generation. Xiaomi's smart home platform now supports tens of millions of connected devices and offers a degree of integration and cross-device compatibility that rivals Apple's HomeKit ecosystem in every technical sense, without requiring you to pay Apple prices to participate in it. The price disruption is structural, not incidental. Chinese manufacturers benefit from vertically integrated supply chains, lower labor costs, government support for strategic industries, and scale advantages built over decades of producing the world's electronics. These are not temporary advantages that close as markets develop. They are structural features of Chinese industrial capacity that Apple cannot eliminate by improving its own product. They can only be managed through brand positioning and ecosystem lock-in. The bigger picture. What is happening in technology in 2026 is part of a broader realignment that extends well beyond smartphones and drones. The assumption built into Western technology strategy for most of the last 3 decades was that innovation would always flow primarily from American and European companies, that intellectual property would protect the premium position indefinitely, and that price advantages held by emerging market manufacturers would never extend upmarket. All 3 of those assumptions are now demonstrably incorrect. Chinese companies are not producing cheap copies of Western products. They are producing original hardware, original software platforms, original AI models, and original industrial infrastructure, and competing on quality rather than simply on price. The competitive threat is therefore not the kind that tariffs or trade restrictions can fully neutralize, because the underlying capability is real and is continuing to develop regardless of what trade policy does at the border. What Apple still has. This is not a story about the end of Apple. The ecosystem Apple has built, iPhone, Mac, iPad, Apple Watch, AirPods, iCloud, and the thousands of integrations between them, is one of the strongest consumer product lock-ins ever created. Switching from Apple to anything else means rebuilding your contacts, your photos, your app subscriptions, your payment methods, and your habits. For a significant portion of Apple's user base, that cost is genuinely prohibitive. Apple's privacy positioning remains a real differentiator for a specific demographic of consumers who will pay a premium for it, and who trust Apple's framing on data security more than they trust any Chinese alternative. That trust is built over decades and is not easily transferred. And the brand carries cultural weight that does not show up in hardware benchmarks. In the United States and Western Europe, owning an iPhone carries specific social associations that Samsung and Xiaomi have not been able to fully override, regardless of what the specifications say. But here is the honest assessment. The premium Apple charges is decreasingly justified by hardware superiority and increasingly justified by brand identity, ecosystem dependency, and the switching cost that years of iCloud entrenchment create. Those are real and durable competitive advantages. They are not the same as being the best phone.